Hi there. Today we're doing lesson 51. The review for today covers the following ideas. From lesson 1, nothing I see means anything. The reason this is so is that I see nothing and nothing has no meaning. It is necessary that I recognize this, that I may learn to see. What I think I see now is taking the place of vision. I must let it go by realizing it has no meaning, so that vision may take its place. So I want to reread this again. This is from lesson number 1. This is a review number 1. Nothing I see means anything. The reason this is so is that I see nothing and nothing has no meaning. It is necessary that I recognize this, that I may learn to see. What I think I see now is taking the place of vision, so I must let it go by realizing it has no meaning, so that vision may take its place. So this is a statement of recognizing what we see means nothing, so there's got to be another way of looking at things. So we are beginning to be open to the possibility of a shift here. So lesson number 2, I have given what I see all the meaning it has for me. I have judged everything I look upon, and it is this and only this I see. I only see my judgment of what I look upon. This is not vision. It is merely an illusion of reality because my judgments have been made quite apart from reality. I am willing to recognize the lack of validity in my judgments because I want to see. So this is a statement that says, I am willing, so we're giving permission to recognize the lack of validity in our judgments. We're recognizing that, yeah, we could have been wrong. In truth, we've been wrong. So I am willing to recognize that I made judgments that were erroneous, that were incorrect, that were mistakes, because I want to see. Sentence 6, my judgments have hurt me, and I do not want to see according to them. Why? Because all of our judgments send us into separation from one another. That hurts us. Send us into competition, into condemnation, into judgment, into jealousy, into disconnection. And they put up barriers between brothers and sisters. Between what is one, we set up obstacles and blocks and we create separations. And those separations give validation to our need to be at war, to our need to hate each other, to our need to maintain evidence of what's been done wrong to us. So we have to recognize that we are the ones who have used the lack of validity in our judgments. We have created invalid judgments. And we are willing to state that. Why? Because we want to see. We want to see clearly. So lesson number 3. A review of lesson number 3. I do not understand anything I see. How could I understand what I see when I have judged it amiss? What I see is the projection of my own errors of thought. So when I see somebody being jealous with me, like for example, Ken, I was projecting my own errors of thought. So what was it that I thought he was jealous of me about was really something that I was projecting as a jealousy that I had. And when I begin to look at those projections as always being about me, it allows us to begin to understand that we don't understand what we see. So it's a magical process. Sentence number 4, I do not understand what I see because it is not understandable. There is no sense in trying to understand it, but there is every reason to let it go and make room for what can be seen and understood and loved. So when I was thinking Ken was jealous and he was jealous of me, well, really, I was jealous. I was jealous of the ability to be totally and completely in love with only one source. And the jealousy that Ken had is because he was in love with me. The jealousy that I had is that I wanted to be singularly in love, but only with one source, and that was God. So it helped me see that as long as I believed there was anything else out there other than God to love, I wasn't living inside of the truth for me, the one that I wanted to live into. So I was jealous that I became the single object of Ken's attention. But that helped me see that I wanted one single object of my attention, and that was Source. So sentence number 7, I can exchange what I see now for this merely by being willing to do so. Is not this a better choice than the one I made before? Let me read that again. Sentence number 7. I can exchange what I see now for this merely by being willing to do so. Is not this a better choice than the one I made before? So when I decided to give up being jealous about him focusing only on me, and I began to say, wow, I want to focus only on God. And if God isn't everything I see, and if Ken is an expression of God, then every single time he was jealous of me, I was thinking, wow, here's somebody who loves so much, but he's missing out on loving everything. I don't want to miss out on loving everything. I want to love God, because when I love God, I love everything, and there's nothing that would be left out for me to be jealous of or possess or whatever that might be. So it was a beautiful opportunity for me to see that I didn't understand anything I was seeing until I took those projections and really worked them through my willingness. So now we're going to do lesson number 4, a review of lesson 4. These thoughts do not mean anything. The thoughts of which I am aware do not mean anything because I am trying to think without God. So as Ken was being jealous, he was thinking without God, because he was thinking I was a separate person, that without me he couldn't be happy, and that's not so, and that other people could get my attention and cheat on him, which wasn't so. So look at how crazy the mind is and what it creates. So the thoughts of which I am aware do not mean anything because I am trying to think without God. You leave God out, your thoughts are meaningless. Why? Because they're going to create perceptions, they're going to create projections, they're going to make up stuff that is not true. What I call my thoughts are not my real thoughts. Let me read that again. What I call my thoughts, and there's quote, my thoughts are not my real thoughts. My real thoughts are the thoughts I think with God. So with God, if Ken was thinking with God, he would say, this is my beloved woman. And so many people love her. Why? Because we're all one and we're all sharing inside of this love. But she has chosen to be with me at the end of the day. She has chosen to marry me. She has chosen to be my partner throughout this human experience. And instead of thinking with God that we were united, he was thinking his own thoughts that we were separate. And therefore, it was a threat to him if I talked to a separate person, because he was thinking without God. So when I saw that, oh my gosh, I want to think with God. I want to see Ken and I as one. So anybody that he hugs, anybody that he loves, I was so grateful for that. And I made it my practice to try and see him with only my real thoughts, which were the thoughts of God. So we had to part ways because we couldn't see each other as God wanted us to see each other, because one of us has thoughts that were again without God, and no matter how much I saw him with God, I couldn't make him change his mind. That's the insanity of the ego. We can't make somebody else change their mind. It has to be a willingness, a free will choice. We have to choose to see with God, because the ego wants us to see apart from God, to sabotage all of our relationships. The ego wants to sabotage love because it is a block to it. Sentence number 5, I am not aware of them because I have made my thoughts to take their place. I am not aware that my real thoughts are the thoughts I think with God, but I'm not aware of them because I make up my own to take their place. If I'm thinking we're separate, if I'm thinking you can take something from me or give something to me, I have blocked the thoughts with God. So now my ego thoughts are taking their place. Sentence number 6, I am willing to recognize that my thoughts do not mean anything and to let them go. If Ken could have seen, excuse me, I am blessed indeed. If Ken could have seen that his thoughts that I was going to cheat on him were a block to the connection that we actually had, he would have let them go. But he couldn't see that those were his ego thoughts. He thought those were his real thoughts because his ego convinced him to protect himself. And because he sided with his ego, he could not see what was before him with God. Sentence number 7, I choose to have them be replaced, my own thoughts, my ego thoughts, by what they were intended to replace. So my ego thoughts intend to replace the thoughts with God. So we have to choose. I choose to have them be replaced. If Ken would have said, I choose to replace jealousy with oneness, oh, it would have changed everything. It would have changed everything. But it is what it is. That was in the past. So living in the now, I'm only sharing these experiences because they're learning experiences. They're what I experienced, and they help to make these lessons make more sense. However, I don't live inside of regret. I don't live inside of wishing things were different, because that would pull me into the past. So the thoughts that I think with God right now are, it is what it is. It happened. It's over with. It taught me how to think with God. That gratitude I carry in my heart. My beloved brother Ken, no longer my lover. He is still my brother whom I love dearly. And that is me thinking with God today. Not in worry or fear or judgment or regret or shame or guilt. None of that is thinking with God. So my thoughts, sentence number 8, my thoughts are meaningless, but all creation lies in the thoughts I think with God. So that's why I like to think with God today. And Ken, taught me amazing things, because he came to reflect to me what I needed to see, which was an act of love as I received it. So now we're going to review lesson 5. I am never upset for the reason I think. I am never upset for the reason I think, because I am constantly trying to justify my thoughts. Notice how when you have a thought of judgment, of resentment, of fear, of anger, of anxiety, you're constantly wanting to share it with others to validate your thoughts. See, I'm so anxious. Can't you see that I'm this anxious? You got to go to the doctor and get anxiety medicine, and you got to take the anxiety pills, and then you get anxious because you're about to run out of anxiety pills, and then you got to go get more anxiety pills, and then the prices go up, and you're anxious because the anxiety pills went up, and the anxiety goes on and on and on, and you talk to all your friends that take anxiety pills. What color is yours? I got a blue pill. I got a red pill. Obviously, there's people who are going to be taking anxiety pills, and that's what helps you in the moment, because that's just at the level of consciousness that you're at. So I'm not minimizing that. But what I am saying is, I'm going to repeat sentence number 1. I am never upset for the reason I think, because I am constantly trying to justify my thoughts, my ego thoughts. I am constantly trying to make them true. I make all things my enemies so that my anger is justified and my attacks are warranted. So I am making my anxiety real so that I can attack my clarity. I am making my beloved, my partner, my child, my husband, my co-worker, I'm making them bad so I can justify attacking them, which then means in my mind, I'm justifying blocking the thoughts with God. So my real thoughts, which are compassion, caring, questioning, curiosity, a willingness to know what's going on, let's look for the truth together. Those thoughts get blocked by my evidence of what you did wrong to me and why I need to defend myself from you, why I need to fire you, why I need to break up with you, divorce you, be done with you. All of those things are thoughts that the ego convinces us justify our need to attack others, because it tells us I need to be protected. Sentence number 5. I have not realized how much I have misused everything I see by assigning this role to it. I misuse everything I see because I've assigned it a role to make me happy. And when it doesn't make me happy, then it becomes the source of my unhappiness. Therefore, I got to attack it, get rid of it, because I've decided that it can block my happiness. But the block to my happiness happened when I believe happiness was outside of me, not in me. When clarity was in a pill and not in me. So let's go now to sentence number 6. I have done this to defend a thought system that has hurt me and that I no longer want. I am willing to let it go. This is a powerful statement. I have done this to defend a thought system that has hurt me and that I no longer want. So when we decide that thinking by ourselves, thinking with the ego hurts us and we don't want it anymore, that's when we can be willing to let it go. These steps are simple, not easy to put into practice because they require repetition. They require that we experience the efficacy of them. They have to work for us, but they won't work for us if we don't put them into practice. So these lessons are an opportunity for us to review what has been set up as a foundation, and for us to begin to practice saying these things and understanding them a little bit more deeply, a little bit more concisely. That's why these paragraphs are short and clear and simple and to the point. So I hope that you have enjoyed today's lesson, and I will see you tomorrow for our next review.